I'm with Frank Basa from Nord Precious Metals, which is the only permitted high-grade milling facility in Ontario for silver. Is that correct?
Yeah, the only one.
And so how are you the only one? And it's also high grade. How about you provide us a really good update with what's going on? Because I was just reviewing, I don't know, you had 5 news releases in the last 35 days?
Yeah, what we're doing is there's multiple things we're doing here, Tracy. One of the things we do is we call it real time. So we're looking at, first of all, carrying on with our drill program. We had a very successful drill program so far. We're focusing mostly on silver, but we do have a lot of critical metals. The town itself is called Cobalt for one reason. A geologist named it Cobalt, and actually the real value to the camp is cobalt. And most people don't know about it, but Agnico started here. And I worked for them here in the camp about 35 years ago. And at that time, we used to pour about 1.6 million ounces of silver. And we put it through the same facility that we just purchased. So the facility has the ability to do about 3 million ounces, pour 3 million ounces. It's a high grade facility. So basically, even when we were here, when I was with Agnico, even Teck was in the camp, would send all their rock to this facility to get processed. So what we also have, we picked up this high grade called the Castle Mine. That was the highest grade mine that Agnico operated, and something happened. And when the president died, new president came in, they lost the property. And I picked it up 12 years ago for $25,000. And everybody thought the camp was kind of empty, was kind of nothing left. So we did what we call a discovery hole, and we had a few discovery holes, and we get grades up to 89,000 grams a ton, silver only. So we're not including the copper, cobalt, nickel. So we did about a 60,000 meter drill program, and we're trying to add to our current resource. Then we found out the assay labs that on the 100,000 samples couldn't get the assay right because there are no standards that high. So we have to resample, and then we kind of discussed it with one of the labs how to prep the samples so that we get a representative number. Right now, not including 60,000 meter drill program, our current resource is about 7.5 million ounces, 250 ounces a ton, silver only. We're not adding the, like I said, the copper, cobalt, nickel, silver only. We're kind of selling ourselves as a silver producer, byproduct, a lot of critical metals, and basically it's copper, cobalt, nickel, and arsenic. Apparently, the Americans feel arsenic is a critical metal, and we have a lot of arsenic. So we also have what we call a process called re-to-ox, which we've been using to produce samples. We produce samples for the Asian market on spec for cobalt sulfate. So now we're going to also be running a very large pilot plant. We did get some government funding from, not government, actually from industry, and they're very tough on juniors like us. So we got our first funding, and SGS is building a pilot plant. They're going to assemble it, run it at Lakefield, then we'll bring it up here into Cobalt, and then we'll try to do about a ton a day of product, and that will basically be the design parameters for a full-scale plant, and we'll also produce samples for potential end buyers. And a lot of people are not aware of it, but we have basically 3 battery plants in Ontario. It's interesting. One of them is Volkswagen, and Volkswagen doesn't build cars in Canada, but their battery plant is here. And hopefully we can supply them. We might be the only hydrometallurgical plant that can handle these complex high arsenic on a global scale. So exploration, re-to-ox, and then we're looking at reprocessing the tailings. The reason we're doing that is to stabilize our underground so that we can go underground and keep on mining. We already were underground. We went from a trackless, from a track to a trackless system, and we also were able to evaluate how much rock we can pull out. So basically, in an 8-hour shift, we can pull out 300 tons. It doesn't sound like much, but when you have grades of, let's say, 20,000 or 50,000 or 89,000 grams a ton, it doesn't take too long to make ounces. When Agnico mined, the Castle mine was running at 32 to 80 ounces a ton. So you can see it's very easy to get extremely high grade, high ounces in a very short time with a small operation.
There is a great deal to unpack here, Frank. So I'm going to ask you a couple of pointed questions.
Yeah.
Number one, are you Silver? Are you silver or are you critical minerals? I think you're
Silver
saying
only. Yeah.
silver.
Yeah, we're silver only, but the reality, Tracy, I know this sounds a little odd. Uh, we actually make more money on the critical minerals, but we're silver only. You look at a silver market, it's a good story. And I think it's going to go explosive. There's no way silver will stay down. When you look at a gold silver ratios, it's like 100 to 1. We've never had that before. Usually it's something like 50, 60 to 1. So I can see silver going ballistic. I don't see the price of gold going down. We might have $80 an ounce silver or more.
So when people say Nord Precious Metals, they need to be thinking silver. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, silver only. Yeah.
Okay. And you recently just put out a news release just last week about new tailings discovery, about 68 test pits you did at the Castle Silver Mine. Can you tell us a little bit more about the
Yeah.
results you got?
So what we're trying to do is locate a pad to build our plant, our gravity plant to treat the tailings. So normally what you do is you do either what we call condemnation drilling, is to make sure you're not building the plant on your ore body, or you do test pits. So we did 68 test pits, and every single test pit we did, we found tailings. So these are old tailings, which never showed up anywhere else. And we're still doing test pits. But we have to look at it, maybe we have to move our plant somewhere else. We already had an area which we have call it a compound. It's fenced in, and then we dug over there, and you get something from anywhere from 4 meters to 6 to 7 meters of tailings, and we don't know whose tailings they are. They're not ours, but they're on our property.
So, as per your original response, you also have a technology play here with Re2Ox, and you also received some government financing for that. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, actually, the Retox is a process we developed over a 6 year time frame. We spent $8 million on it, and we are using it because nobody will take these high arsenic feeds. So we developed a process. It's actually what I call low tech, high sophistication. So in other words, you can take this plant and stick it in some field and hire some guy in 3 months' time. He's running it. But if you want to monitor the plant, you can have your laptop and sitting on a beach in Hawaii, and you can monitor the plant. So it's very, very low tech, high sophistication. Anybody can run it, and it has the ability to remove the arsenic into recoverable arsenic, and also can produce cobalt sulfate. We already produce cobalt sulfate on spec for Sumitomo in Japan. So it comes to one of these things. Nobody wants high arsenic. We have it. We also have a market for the arsenic. Actually, it's an American market. And of course, we can produce all the metals that are required for the battery market.
Frank, silver, you're obviously a silver expert. What is going on in the market with silver?
I think there's going to be a real short squeeze on the silver. Most of the mines, it's a byproduct. And when you look at the gold silver ratio, it's like 100 to 1. I've never seen that in my lifetime. Normally, it's around 50 to 60. I don't see the price of gold coming down. I see it going up. There's talk of $4,000 an ounce. I see that pretty close. And I think silver, sooner or later, it'll be really explosive. And that's why we decided, a few years ago, we'll change the name of our company, focus on silver. But like I said, a real value to this company is the critical metals. That's the greatest value in the camp.
Critical minerals, you mentioned that arsenic is now a critical mineral based on the US government.
Yeah.
What is arsenic? How do you have it? And why is this a benefit to Nord Precious Metals shareholders?
In the old days, arsenic were considered a liability. And a lot of companies kind of left the Cobalt Camp because of the arsenic. But when you look at it, uh, there's a critical shortage of arsenic. Now, you think about it, why would the Americans put it on a critical list of metals? It's because nobody's producing it anymore. See, in the old days, all the smelters produced, but the smelters can't take arsenic-bearing concentrates anymore, so there's no more arsenic. So one of the main uses, it's kind of a low-tech thing, but they use it as a copper arsenate to sort of like preserve the wood. But I also found out like we retreated some batteries, some lithium-ion batteries, and we checked for everything. We put it in solution. We used the Re2Ox process, and lo and behold, what showed up? Arsenic. So why is arsenic in a lithium-ion battery? We don't know. But arsenic is actually kind of high-tech metal too, eh? They have these germanium arsenate crystals that they use in chips. So it appears they also ending up in the lithium-ion batteries.
Nord has had an incredible output of news releases over the last month. What should shareholders be looking forward to in the next quarter? You get to give us a bit of a rest.
Well, I think we're going to probably start our drill program. We also find our drill program caused a lot of excitement in the market. We also kind of indicated we're working on this pilot plant re-to-ox, and actually we got funding from industry. We were offered funding from the government, but I think we'll do industry first. So industry kind of indicates to the government, look, if industry gives money, the government says, well, they kind of passed the test. We went through a very rigorous process of being evaluated if we're real and if it qualifies. So we're kind of happy. We took a small step, but once you take a small step with industry, then the government, both federal and provincial, they have tens of millions of dollars throwing them at us. But hopefully, everything falls into place. And of course, we have a market. We were surprised how many people, after we announced it, gave us a call, some senior players. And I said, well, very good. We're still early stage, and let us prove up what we have, and then we'll get in touch with you. But we already had Zoom calls with these people, which surprised me.
A seasoned veteran, I'm not surprised at all. For all of you out there, please go to Nord Precious Metals website to secure more information. Frank, thank you for joining us today.
Welcome. Thanks a lot, Tracy. And have a wonderful day, Tracy.